I'll build my own theme park with blackjack and hookers. Hello Miners, welcome back. I got another fun one for you today. This is Legacy Synthesizer Affinity. This is kind of an evolution of the old 8-cast style decks that were looking to cast overcosted affinity spells for as cheap as possible by overloading the board with a bunch of cheap artifacts to reduce their cost down to 1 or 0 mana. So this deck is going to look super familiar. It's very much similar to the old 8-cast style decks, but it's a little bit heavier on the aggro side of things with more affinity creatures and not as much in the form of reactive spells. And it's looking to abuse things such as Frogmite and Sojourner's Companion with a relatively new card here in Simulacrum Synthesizer. So this is a 3-drop artifact that when it hits the battlefield, you get to scry 2, but whenever an artifact with mana value of 3 or more enters the battlefield, you create a construct. So basically what you're trying to do is have all of these massive mana cost spells of Sojourner's Companion and Frogmite and Thought Monitor hitting the battlefield, creating a construct along with them, and just overloading your opponent with a ton of giant robots that are just beating them down. This is all enabled by a bunch of cheap artifacts in the form of fast mana, card draw, Chalice of the Void, and the artifact land in the form of Seat of the Synod and also Darksteel Citadel. So basically, you're just trying to get as many artifacts on the board as possible, reduce the mana value and cost of these super high mana value cards, and just use those to create an unstoppable army. This deck is held together with Ancient Tomb to power out your higher drop cards that are your engine, and Urza's Saga to be able to pump out even more constructs, and to be able to tutor up any of your 0 or 1 drop Silver Bullet artifacts like Aether Spellbomb, Ghost Vacuum, Shadow Spear, all that. This also just has a pretty good aggro plan in the form of Patchwork Automaton, because that's going to grow every time you cast an artifact, period, even if it's not at that 3 mana or above threshold the synthesizer cares about. This is all also being able to be powered out with Emery Lurker the Lock to be able to recast artifacts from your graveyard, to be able to make sure you always have the critical mass of artifacts that you need for your affinity cards and to keep growing your Patchwork Automaton as the game goes on. There is a one of fun of in here in the form of Kozilek's Unsealing as another form of card draw, since you are playing a bunch of very large artifact creatures for virtually no mana for the most part. So just a kind of cool little fun of in there to be able to even max out the card draw aspect of this deck along with the Thought Casts and the Thought Monitors. So in the sideboard, basically just a bunch of silver bullets that you can search out with your Urza's Saga when you need to. You got Disruptor Flute to be able to shut down activated abilities and tax spells, Pithing Needle for the same reason, Haywire Might to be able to take care of any problematic artifacts or enchantments that are on the board, Unlicensed Hearse for additional graveyard hate, along with Fairy Macabre as well, Mindbreak Trap for Storm decks, Harbinger of the Seas for Eldrazi and lands-based decks, Hullbreacher for blue card draw decks, Plague Engineer to be able to kind of mitigate the Nadu style decks that are running around. You can name Insect and it kills off all the tokens that Springheart Nantucket would be making so that they can't just basically go infinite on you. And then some removal in the form of Dismember just to be able to remove any kind of problematic creatures that are on the board. So let's take this through a league, see how it does, see if the robots still have it. I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Alright, so I promised myself I would not do any Zoidberg impressions or continually replace the word robot with robot throughout this entire fucking video. So chat, keep track and yell at me in the comments if I break my own rule. That said, I am going to go ahead and keep this. I like this hand. It's got a lot of potential. It doesn't really do anything up against a super fast combo deck, but I do like the quick turn 2 Emery and turn 1 protection against graveyard style decks. And if I hit a soul land, I can go right into Simulacrum Synthesizer stuff. We've got a Misty Rainforest from the opponents. We got another Sojourner's Companion. Let's play out the Otawara so that I can play Emery around a Daze. Emery resolves, okay. Anything good in our graveyard? 2 Petals, a Seed of the Synod, and an Urza's Saga. So we can at least get down a Petal next turn. Crank out the Simulacrum Synthesizer. Alright, Thundering Falls. This looks like it might be a sneak and... Oh, it is 100% sneak and show. That is not good for us. We don't really have any real gameplay against that. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I guess we're gonna grab... See what we draw off of a Thought Monitor. And our opponent's just going to drop a Atraxa right off of the bat. So that's bad, but not the worst thing in the world, I guess. Okay. So we've got to watch out for an Emrakul next turn if we don't hit a counterspell. Alright, this is not a matchup I was hoping to run into, to say the least. Kept Spirit Guide, Lotus Petal, Flusterstorm, and Island. Okay. They didn't want any of the enchantments. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, it's not good. Like, don't get me wrong. Spellbomb can also bounce that back to the hand. But let's go ahead and be efficient. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of the Show and Tell. Like, Spellbomb is still very much something we could do. I don't hate the Mox Opal. Let's start out with the Simulacrum Synthesizer. We can block the Atraxa for a turn. Urza Saga and a Emery. We can bottom both of these. Okay, so I gotta think here. How do I want to do this? As much as I would like to run out the Patchwork Automaton first, I think I have to run out the Mox Opal, then play Automaton, then get a Lotus Petal back from the graveyard to grow the Automaton, and then I should be able to drop both of the Sojourner's Companions. I think I have enough artifacts for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So I can cast both of these, get some big-ass constructs. I got a bunch of stuff that I can lose to a Emrakul and still win. And we'll see if we can get through this. Luckily, nothing I played was able to get hit by a, whatchamacallit, Flusterstorm. That's what I was trying to say here. And then we pass a turn and just hope that we can make a way through this. The fact that they didn't keep any enchantment is concerning. And they're going straight into combat. Okay. So I can take 7. I'm worried what this follow-up is going to be. Ancient Tomb, 4 mana. Okay, so they are just going to get themselves another turn. But it doesn't look like they have another payoff yet. They probably should have kept those enchantments. The One Ring is annoying, but not the end of the world. We'll go ahead and eat the Simian Spirit Guide. A Frogmite, so we get some more dudes. We grow the Automaton some more. Get another dude. And then we will get back Lotus Petal just to grow our Automaton some more. And hope that they can't just keep chaining One Rings. I'm probably going to chump block the Atraxa. I can take another Atraxa hit, though, so maybe I don't. The only problem is... I mean, I guess I'm dead to an Emrakul either way. So it doesn't really matter. Because, like, if they can sneak in an Emrakul, I can block 1 for the turn. It's a matter of if they can Show and Tell in an Omniscience and then cast an Emrakul. This is sneak attack. If it's just a sneak attack Emrakul, I can survive that as well. It's another the One Ring. The One Ring begets One Rings. Like, that's what's gonna kill us. I think I can survive one more hit from this Atraxa for now. Oh, we just gotta hope that they don't have another way to figure this out, or I need to draw into a way to bounce the Atraxa to get rid of it for now. They might counter this just so I don't draw more cards. Okay, we do get a Force of Will and a Daze out of hand. So we gotta hope that they don't hit a show and tell slash sneak attack into Emrakul, and that they don't find another the One Ring. Opponent brainstormed, end of turn. They are gonna get to draw 4 cards this turn minimum. They're almost yeah, they are almost to the point of just being able to hard cast a whatchamacallit, Omniscience. They're pondering. Like, this is a situation that this does occasionally get into where you just can't find what you're looking for, and you fizzle out even after getting your combo together. Is this another... Okay, it's a sneak attack. I was gonna say, is this another fucking the One Ring? Sneak attack in an Emrakul. We can... Oh, it's an Archon of Cruelty. Yeah, we can't beat that. Okay. Yeah. That was a hell of a fight considering the fact that, they got such a quick attacks on the battlefield. What do we have for the sideboard? I guess... Wow, after the update, these got huge. Holy shit. Let's drop this a smidgen and make this a little bit smaller so I can see what the fuck is going on over here. There's something to be said about Hull Breacher. I probably want to bring in these 3. Hull Breacher isn't a terrible ad either if I want to do this. I can probably easily take out Kozilek's Unsealing. Ghost Vacuum isn't really doing much here. I don't think Shadow Spear is going to do a ton either. Also, something to note, this is a 61 card special, so the sideboard is going to look a little weird because I'm always going to have 61 cards afterward. I definitely want all of my counter magic. Chalices seem good. Our life total is a resource, but I don't think the small incremental life gain I can get out of just swinging in early is going to help me that much. A lot of the times it's going to be like one big attack is going to kill me. I think we can probably trim down on some number of Emerys as well. They might bring in their Graveyard Hate since they saw how important Emery was that game. And having it in multiples is also really bad. So let's try something like that. Alright, let's see if we can put up another fight here. I was actually very surprised how close that last game was, considering how quickly they got off of show and tell. This is unkeepable. We gotta ship that. Okay, I like this. We can keep this. Put the redundant Mox Opal to the bottom, probably. Yeah, we'll keep this. Put the redundant Mox Opal to the bottom. And we are going to start out with all of the artifacts, so that we can hopefully Metallic Rebuke a quick show and tell, and then we'll start working on the Urza Saga plan. Alright, opponents starting out a little bit slower. We are going to go ahead and play Urza Saga and just try to get into the beatdown plan and hope that we can get there with some fast constructs. We do have 2 levels of protection, so to speak. We can Metallic Rebuke, and then if that doesn't work, if we get to untap, we can try to Otawara back whatever they put in. Alright, Thundering Falls, bidding a Scalding Tarn, that's fine. They didn't see any counter magic out of us either, so they might think that we don't have it, and they might have taken some of their counter magic out, but I don't know. We are in blue, so they might think that we just got unlucky. Chose not to shuffle off of the Ponder, okay. So I'm guessing that means they're trying to set up for next turn. Redundant Otawara, I like that. We're going to play the Ancient Tomb. If they don't do anything, we can make constructs without hurting ourselves, but I wanted to do this so that I don't have to blow my Lotus Petal in order to do the thing. Okay, the One Ring, is this our fight? I don't think so. I don't think the One Ring is our fight. It saves them a turn. And let's make a dude without hurting ourselves, since we can. These are going to be some big constructs. Apache. Let's make a dude. I think we're going to go ahead and go grab Aether Spellbomb, since we can't crash in this turn anyways. I could also grab a Pithing Needle here and shut down their draws off of the One Ring. I've got bounce spells. I think that might be what I do, actually. They can use it to fog, but they can't use it to draw. And we can play 1 Otawara, get out Patchy, and then I've still got the mana up to be able to Metallic Rebuke, but it is very quickly becoming something that they're just going to be able to pay for. They can't currently pay for it, so let's try it. See if they've got any kind of counter spells of their own to protect their combo, or if they took them out to... Ooh, Pyroblast. Okay, what are they going to show and tell in? Is this Omniscience? No, it's a Traxa, which we should be able to just bounce. I don't have quite enough to kill them, but it is enough to bounce. They could sneak attack it back in later if they decide to keep a sneak attack. Oh, they have Meltdown? Yeah, we're just dead to that. Okay, yeah, that's 100% game over. I mean, we'll see what we draw, but yeah, that completely destroys our board. We have the mana to bounce the Atraxa, but they can just play sneak attack and get it back in next turn. Wow, okay. See if we hit anything relevant. No, okay, wow, okay, good game, opponent. They just had our number. All right. Okay, on to the next rough start for the robots. I like this, though. This is a quick Urza Saga with multiple, so I think we're going to keep this. Hope our opponent's not on a super fast combo deck. I have found that while I was testing, this deck is not great against super fast combo, which unfortunately a lot of the meta is. Because we don't have force effects, we're relying entirely on Metallic Rebuke and lock pieces. But this is a Urza Saga into Mox Opal Mishra's Bauble, make constructs on turn 2, 3, drop another Saga, and then bash in. We got a Misty from the opponent here. I don't hate Emery. Cast a Mox Opal, cast a Mishra's, and drop the Saga. Next turn, I could make a construct right off of the bat so I can play Emery for 1 mana and turn on the Mox Opal, but I think we're going to wait and see what our opponent's doing. Oh, this isn't the same opponent, right? No, okay, so it's Delver, got it. We have to worry about Wasteland, but we do have a redundant Urza Saga, which is nice. Brainstorm's fine. These fairer decks are more of what this deck preys on, because we can typically just go so wide so fast of what they're trying to do. And historically, Urza Saga decks can pivot into the Saga beatdown plan against these blue fair decks pretty easily. And it looks like our opponent is mana screwed, which I like. So we're going to see what we draw here. A Seat of the Synod. Unfortunately, we can't cast that yet. So we're going to go ahead and play an Ancient Tomb and pass. And then next turn we'll kind of do everything we intended on doing. So we know our opponent's not going to make a land drop here. So we're lucking out a little bit. They have one more dead draw before they start drawing live again toward lands. They could bolt this, which would be fine. I don't really care about that. We are going to make another dude. We are going to go ahead and grab the Lava Spur Boots. Now is their time. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, now is their time to bolt it before it gets out of bolt range, but I don't really care about that at the moment. We are going to go ahead and grab the boots. Grab the Lava Spur Boots. Play another Urza Saga. Equip the boots. And then play an Emery. This might get a counter out of them. It does. It's a Force of Will. Okay, we got 2 Force of Wills out of hand. That's actually a really good exchange for us. And now we have uncounterable artifacts in the form of these lands coming down to grow future constructs and work our way up toward being able to Thought Monitor. And we are working toward an answer to a Murktide region. Okay, they just scoop it up. That was their last shit draw, I think, off of their Brainstorm. So I'll take game 1. Oh my god. So apparently it's not going to save me changing the size on these. Got it. That's going to be very annoying if I have to do that between every game. Alright, against what our opponent's doing. Hull Breacher's in 100%. Plague Engineer is a maybe. It's kind of funny. I can name Human and it stops non-delirious DRCs and all Delvers, so it's a possibility. It's also just a Death Toucher to fuck with them. I think I want Pithing Needle and Disruptor Flu and Unlicensed Hearse in to keep the graveyard under control. I have been super unimpressed with Kozilek's Unsealing in general. I've been boarding it out a lot. Also, if I'm just looking for random cuts, I've kind of been taking Frogmites out. They're just a 2/2 body. They do enable Simulacrum Synthesizer, but they're really bad outside of that. And yeah, let's try this and see how it goes. Okay, this unfortunately is unkeepable. Like, if we had another land, this would be great. But we've got a single mana source. And it's not even like we have a Mox Opal that this Lava Spur boost could theoretically help out, so I think we gotta ship this. Okay, this is better. It's still not good per se, but I think we're gonna keep it. Let's put back the redundant Sojourner's Companion. This is a little weak to a Wasteland, but we also get a draw, so we'll see. Opponents starting out on their Trop, which is typically a one-of. So we'll see what we draw here. Okay, the Hull Breacher I like a lot. The question becomes is, do I want to start out on the Odawara, or do I want to start out on the Urza Saga? I think I want to start out on the Saga, run out our 0-drops, pass the turn. A 0-drop artifact, an artifact to land, any of that will allow us to play Hull Breacher. Or Simulacrum Synthesizer. Okay, Volcanic from the opponent, and they're just passing, so they appear to have a much more reactive hand. Patchwork Automaton I actually like quite a bit here. So we play Odawara. We play Patchy. This turns on the Mox Opal, assuming this resolves. This also taxes their mana in terms of trying to kill it. We're getting action from our opponent here. Okay, they're casting a Consigned Memory on it. Okay. And they overpaid for... Okay, no, they replicated it. It just got off of the stack super quick for some reason. That is mostly fine. Ooh, they're playing Sink into Stupor. Interesting. Okay, so this isn't just normal Rug Delver. They've got Uro. But we can take care of Uro no problem. Like, that's not a thing I have to worry about at all. Disruptor Flute. Okay. So let's make some mana. We are going to go ahead and grab our Ghost Vacuum here. As much as I would love to drop Hull Breacher here, I think I need to Simulacrum Synthesizer and set up my next couple of draws. And this gets a force it. Oh, it's Food Chain! Okay, cool. Okay. I'm excited now. Yeah, I guess we just passed the turn then, and we need to draw some mana? Okay, that greatly changes what I'm scared of then, and actually might change the way we sideboard a little bit. Unfortunately, Food Chain is a mana ability, so I can't shut it down with Disruptor Flute, but I can make it cost more. Or I can name Mist Hollow Griffin, and they don't get to go infinite with it. They are going to Seek the Beast. Okay. Wrong zone. And hit 2 more Questing Druids, which are... I don't know if they did this in our end step or what, but that ends up going away. We will eat the Uro out of the graveyard. Lotus Petal. I don't hate that. We can always flash in Disruptor Flute and they Mist Hollow Griffin later. And if they don't do anything, or they try to cast some, whatchamacallit spells, card draw spells, we can flash in Hull Breacher. So if they just hit, like, land into Food Chain here with the Food Chain on the stack. Okay, so they did do that on our end step. So they are going to Seek the Beast. Unstable Amulet plus that. Unstable Amulet is kind of cool. They might just play that. I really did like the version of Food Chain that I played a few months ago, maybe? But I actually did play this deck recently and absolutely loved it. Okay. Unstable Amulet, that is fine. I also could just, like, name Unstable Amulet so they can't do anything here. But at the very least, I'm going to flash in the Hull Breacher. See if this gets anything out of them. No, okay. And then we're going to eat Consigned Memory. Thought Monitor, okay. I think I still need to just hold this Disruptor Flute up, unfortunately. Because this gets dropped by 3, so I still don't have the mana for it anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to hold up the Disruptor Flute. We will cast that and name Mist Hollow Griffin whenever they decide to try to go for the Food Chain. Okay, just casting a Questing Druid, that's fine. Depending on what they have, if they have anything that they can cast at instant speed, they could grow the Questing Druid to the point where my Hull Breacher won't kill it. Or it kills my Hull Breacher, which then turns on all their cantrips. Alright, they are going to go ahead and Unstable Amulet here. What did they reveal? Did they hit a land? Oh, they hit another Questing Druid, okay. I was like, what the hell did they hit? Okay. I'm gonna do this, eat this, and I think I'm gonna take the time now to just flash in the Disruptor Flute and name Mist Hollow Griffin. Galvanic Discharge on the Hull Breacher, okay. This does turn on their cantrips now. Where did that consign to memory come from? I'm a little confused. Okay, whatever. I have no idea where the hell that came from. I have no mana to play this Simulacrum Synthesizer. Now I'm the one who's a little mana screwed. I mean, luckily a 3/3 isn't terrible, but all of their stuff is unlocked now, and if they can assemble the combo, then I'm just dead. Another unstable amulet. Okay. They are quickly growing their questing druids. Kind of surprised they didn't play another questing druid. I guess they want to do this instead. Oh, it goes under the amulet. Got it. Okay, I didn't know where it went. It's been so long since I played it, I forgot where the hell the card went. I'd love to crack this bauble, but I need... There's something to be said about cracking the bauble. I think I need to. It shuts off my Mox Opal, theoretically, for a turn, but I just need the draws at this point. Chalice of the Void, that doesn't do anything. Okay, yeah, this one's over. We just drew like shit after our opponent countered our important stuff, but this actually lets us know what the hell is going on. I don't need the Unlicensed Hearse. Okay, I'm going to have to do this between every game. That is going to be super annoying. Okay, so now that we know what's going on, Plague Engineer 100% coming in. I think we're going to bring in the Harbingers of the Seas. Take out Unlicensed Hearse. I still like the other stuff. We can probably take out Aether Spellbomb now. And Chalice isn't looking as good, so we can probably trim down there. Bring in Haywire Might, trim another Chalice, so that Haywire Might can blow up Food Chain. And yeah, let's try something like that. Okay, let's see if we can get this game 3 out now that we know what the hell our opponent is doing. There's no blue mana, but I can shut down a couple of their plays to start. How much do we trust getting blue mana is the question. I think we gotta ship it, as much as I don't want to. This also is unkeepable. This is bad going to 5 already. Okay, this we can keep. I think we get rid of Mox Opal and the island. Alright, so we name Unstable Amulet with the Pithing Needle. Name Unstable Amulet. And then next turn, we plan on holding up Metallic Rebuke and flashing in Hull Breacher. Or flashing in Hull Breacher, depending on what the opponent does. Alright, Scalding Tarn from the opponent. Just passing. That's fine. A Chalice would also be nice to be able to shut down Galvanic Discharge. Sojourner's Companion is a ways off. It is 2 cheaper. It'd be great if they just fired off like an end-of-turn Brainstorm here. But they're probably just going to get a Surveil land. Yep, Thundering Falls for the Surveil. Say, they brought in Consigned to... Okay, they've been to a Food Chain, which means they probably have one. They also got the cool art on Food Chain there. I really like the Hydra art. Alright, they're just passing the turn. I think we're going to wait. We don't need to flash in the Hull Breacher yet. Another Ancient Tomb. I don't hate that. That gets us closer to Sojourner's Companion, which actually we can cast now. We have the mana for it. If they try to... Okay, it's a Seek the Beast. To hit a Food Chain and a Questing Druid. Okay. If they get green mana and just go for the Food Chain, we will Metallic Rebuke it. They probably kept their Force of Wills in. Alright, they're just going to cast another Seek the Beast for a Icefang Quaddle and a Brainstorm. So it looks like they're looking for lands. Seeing as they are now tapped out, I am going to flash in the Hull Breacher and start getting the beats in. This shuts off that Brainstorm for next turn. Unless they've got a Force of Will. Okay, they don't. They pause for a second like they might. I don't hate Mox Opal, so that drops this down to 4. I think it's just worth the body on the battlefield at this point. Take 4 just to play it. Just get an extra body on the battlefield to increase our beats. This still leaves up the mana to be able to Metallic Rebuke. So this Food Chain is completely burned off, so that's 2 Food Chains down. Alright, get him for 3, then 7. Unfortunately, it's still a 4-turn clock, because they'd have to be under 14 for this to turn into a 2-turn. They've still got a little bit of time to figure this out. They can well, they can't even Brainstorm. I was going to say they can Emergency Brainstorm. I was thinking Bowmaster Effect, not prevent the draw. Icefang Quaddle can hit the battlefield just as a body. Galvanic Discharge, we are going to go ahead and counter that and hope that they don't have another counter back, because this would be a fantastic Force of Will. Okay, it is a force. Pitching a Brainstorm. Okay. So their Brainstorm is live, but they're choosing not to use it. That's interesting. We are doing a ton of damage to ourselves here. Get a Thought Monitor down, refuel our hand a little bit. Okay, I like Plague Engineer. These are humans, right? Yes. So I think we Plague Engineer on human so that they can never get a Questing Druid down. We will hold on to the other Mox Opal. So this makes it so that those Questing Druids can never become a threat. And our opponent still seems to be missing land drops. And then all of this shit burned off. If they have another Galvanic Discharge, they do have enough energy to kill anything that they want. Okay, they're going to abrade the Sojourner's Companion. Okay, that's fine. They do keep slowing our clock down, but they still are missing land drops. We are going to go ahead and play and equip the boots. Like I said, we are dealing a ass ton of damage to ourselves here, but this is the most efficient way to do this. And it does protect our Plague Engineer at least a little bit by giving it Ward 1. And fetch lands are now off if they find one, because then they're just dead on the crackback. They're going to seek the Beast again for a land and a Galvanic Discharge, but the land doesn't cast Galvanic Discharge. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Any creature should be lethal. That is not a creature, unfortunately. Attack with everything. And we will just hold on to this, make them think that we have some kind of counter. Fetch lands are off. This all burned off. I don't think that they can play Food Chain and exile a Griffin all at once on 4 mana. Playing an Ice Fang Coatl to redraw, that's fine. It doesn't have Death Touch, so I can still swing into it. I have 2 attackers. Alright, opponent passes the turn. They could have a Galvanic Discharge that would buy them a turn. If I hit another creature to attack with, and that is a creature to be able to attack with, and we will move the booties over, and then we will grow the Patchwork Automaton, and our opponent scoops it up right after saying, "That's cringe." I do not know what you are referring to, but good games, opponent. That was fun. On to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play a Synthesizer, lose all of my lands, crack a Mishra's Bauble, and see what happens? Is that worth it? This dies super hard to a Force of Will, and then I've got to somehow get all of my artifacts back to be able to actually play Sojourner's Companion later? Or I can just play out my artifacts, Mishra's Bauble, see what they're doing and go from there, or see what I'm doing and go from there? I think I'm going to give this a shot. This is super risky, but it seems like it has super high potential. Oh boy. What is our opponent doing? Is this Reanimator? Are we dead already? Okay, basic island into Ponder. Interesting. Well, it's not turn 1 Entomb, turn 2 Reanimate. Opponent did not shuffle. I am going to have to worry about counter magic. It's actually a kind of cool avatar. I haven't seen this one before. Long River Lurker. Cool little frog over there. Chalice of the Void. Chalice on 1 could be really good. Let's bobble. I think I'm gonna bobble myself first into an Urza Saga, so I can't afford to lose some lands, because I'm drawing one. So the question becomes, do I want to Chalice on 1 here, and shut off my own Lava Spur Boots? Or do I want a Synthesizer, knowing I'm getting a land? I think I'm gonna go for the Chalice, and hope that they are a very 1-drop heavy deck. This gets around a Daze. It doesn't get around a Force of Will, but it seems to have resolved. And then I will have 2 draws. Luckily, my draw of this Mishra's Bauble can't be Thoughtseize. Not that it can anymore with Chalice anyways. And opponent plays a Misty Rainforest and passes. Okay. It is a little awkward that this shuts off my Lava Spur Boots, but it's not the end of the world, I guess. Don't stifle the trigger. I need the mana. Don't stifle me, bro. Okay. Did not stifle it. I do need mana to start getting down these Synthesizers, though. or to be able to start making constructs. Basic heavy deck. This could be an Ice Fang Quaddle. Alright, are we up against Food Chain again? Alright, opponents getting in for their 1. That's fine. Seeing a lot of the snake birds. Like, yeah, I haven't seen Ice Fang Quaddle in a while, and this is the second opponent in a row who has them. Okay, I can cast an Emery here, which I think I need to. Okay, Emery resolved. Hopefully it's not going to die. Unfortunately, we are losing our only land next turn. Like, we have kind of gotten mana screwed in this game a little bit. I mean, granted, some of it's my own fault. I did keep a no-lander. Opponent's going to get in. I can't block it. That's fine. I really need this Emery to stick around so that I can play a Lotus Petal from the graveyard. Opponent's playing just a lot of pass go, so I'm curious what they've got here. That's Apache. Are you going to stifle the search trigger? Sultai something, or is this an opposition agent? Hedge Maze, okay. So opponents on Sultai something. They do have Death Touch now. They surveilled a Spell Pierce. Okay. So I think I need to get Mox Opal and then turn it on with a Lotus Petal and hope this Lotus Petal doesn't get countered. And then I think I need to Simulacrum Synthesizer here. Tap this for mana first, then sacrifice this. If this gets countered, we're kind of in some deep shit. Okay, that got in. Set up my next draws. So Frogmite costs 1 mana. Do I want to just start trying to go as wide as possible is the question. I've already got Sojourner's Companion. Yeah, let's grab the Frogmite, put that on top, and start just trying to go wide here. I need Emery to live, but... I mean, I guess technically I don't, but it'll be interesting. Luckily, they don't have much of a clock yet, but it means they've got 6 spells in hand, and I don't know what the hell's going on over there. What we need to do is get back a petal, cast the petal, and then we need to cast Frogmite, and for it to not, or Patchwork Automaton for it to not get countered. Okay. Cast a Frogmite, grow the Patchy, get a dude. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 1 mana or 1 artifact away from being able to play the Sojourner's Companion. And then I've just got to hope that I can kill the opponent. I'm really curious what they have in hand. That they have 7 cards, and all they've really done is play pass go. Luckily, the good part about having no lands is Wasteland doesn't hit me. Another Simulacrum Synthesizer. Grab a Lotus Petal again. Cast a Lotus Petal, grow the Patchwork, cast Sojourner's Companion for free, get another dude, and now I will get in with Frogmite and this guy. Actually, we'll get in with Apache too. We can get it back later. Like, we need to start pushing damage now. We just spent so long not doing anything. They're going to kill the big construct that's just sitting there, and then we will pass the turn. I've still got more Lotus Petals in the graveyard to be able to do stuff with. What is in your hand, opponent? I am very confused why you're basically not doing anything. Another Frogmite. Okay. Let's get back Lotus Petal. Grow Patchwork. Get the Petal back. Play another Simulacrum Synthesizer. Grow Patchy. Get double triggers. Make a dude. It's kind of awkward that I can't just play this Lava Spur Boots. Both of these are worthless. They have a Wasteland, so there's no point in trying to go after a land here. Let's make another 2 dudes and grow the Patchwork again. And this is kind of what this deck is designed to do. And they are staring down lethal if they don't have some way to deal with a bunch of this stuff all at once. And I'm still not totally sure what our opponent's trying to do over there. Okay, Orcish Bowmasters is fine. That can block 2 things. Ping my face, that's fine. It looks like it's just some kind of fair Sultai deck, but I don't know what. Yep, blocks that. Blocks the 2 biggest things, takes 6, lose both of their creatures, go to 4, I pass the turn. I'm very worried about, like, a Wrath if they have one. Alright, and they scoop it up. I'm not totally sure what our opponent's doing. 5 lands and 7 cards in hand. Very basic heavy. Really don't know what's going on there. Okay, this is going to get really annoying over the course of the league, having to do this between every single game. I'm not going to lie. Daybreak, if you see this, please change it. Okay, so I think we want to bring in Hull Breachers. I like Plague Engineer. I can name Orc and get rid of all their Orcs. I kind of want to bring in Pithing Needle to name Wasteland. Trying to think what in those colors could screw us over. I'm tempted to bring in the Dismembers just because I don't know what other creatures they're going to have. Unfortunately, our one of fun of is probably going to go trim a Emery, probably trim 2 Frogmites. Being on the draw, maybe take out a Chalice. But Chalice was really good against them. Maybe that's what they had, was just a whole bunch of 1-mana cantrips stuck in their hand that they couldn't cast. In green, they're going to have stuff like Force of Vigor. I'd bring in the Harbingers of the Seas normally against a 3-color deck, but they seem very basic heavy. Let's just try that and see if we can find out more information about our opponent's deck. Okay, I like this. We will 100% keep this. We got turn 1 Patchy that can grow, and then we've got turn 2 Hull Breacher held up to be able to stop their cantripping. Starting off with an Underground Sea and a Ponder. Luckily, the Ward 2 on Patchwork makes it really hard for decks to deal with if they don't have Edict effects. This is also going to be a lot of artifacts headed up toward this Thought Monitor. Unfortunately, if they have a Bowmaster's, Thought Monitor basically just kills itself. But I think we're going to stick with the plan here. We're going to turn 1 Patchwork. We will hold up turn 2 Hull Breacher. Do a little damage to ourselves here. See if this gets a counter out of the opponent. If they were... Ooh, they do. They do respect it. Force of Will pitching Tameo. Okay. We will run out the Lotus Petal just for the hell of it. And then next turn, I think we're going to play Island so that they can't Force of Vigor us off of our blue mana to be able to cast Hull Breacher. Wasteland. Okay. That's okay-ish. We still have lands to play with. Simulacrum Synthesizer is nice. Unfortunately, this means that we can't Hull Breacher in response to something this turn if they Brainstorm. But it does put us in a position where we can next turn. Alright, opponent's going to pass. I have a feeling they're going to flash in a... whatchamacallit? Let's play the Sea of the Synod first. Lotus Petal. I have a feeling they're going to flash in a Coatl here. This also lets us play around days. So if they're going to flash in a Coatl... Ooh, they did not flash in a Coatl. Okay. What is this? Black-green. Witherbloom command. Let's sacrifice this for blue. Let this happen. I'm guessing they're going to get the Wasteland back? Yes, they got the Wasteland back. They're going to try to get me off of mana. Okay. Flash and Hull Breacher. It resolved. I need some more mana now, or I need my opponent to mess up and cantrip. That is not either of those things. So this is just Sultai Midrange by the look of it. They might have just had a whole bunch of 1-drops stuck in hand. Hedge Maze, okay. Bins of Polluted Delta, passes the turn. Plague Engineer I can't cast. This could be a Bowmaster, so I'm not going to attack into it. But unfortunately, I'm giving my opponent time to do stuff. Another land, and I can safely attack, because I can play Plague Engineer. Okay, Icebane Coatl, that gives me a treasure. So I don't know if they did that just for the sake of having a body on board, or they forgot how Hull Breacher works, but that gives me my 3rd mana. Opponent said, oof, they forgot what Hull Breacher did. My apologies, opponent. I could name Snake, but I think Orc is more important here. I could also just get down the Synthesizer, but I'm assuming since this is a Sultai deck, they're probably going to have a bunch of removal, but I don't know, we'll see. They can get in for 1, I can't block it. Okay, they're holding back. Alright, now I'm hitting my lands. Do I want... So I can Synthesizer here to set up my next couple of turns, or I can just Plague Engineer. I think that's better. Just shut Orcish Bowmasters down. Plague Engineer on Orc. I'm still not going to attack into another potential Icebane Coatl. And now next turn, I am going to play the Simulacrum Synthesizer. What is this? Kaito? Okay. Hard cast a Kaido. Got it. Put 2 stun counter. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Stun counters on a Hull Breacher. Totally fine. Their Surveil is basically just going to turn into card selection. If that's the route they want to go. Okay, I like Urza Saga. We've got 1, 2. We're just going to go ahead and do this. Get down the Simulacrum Synthesizer. Start upping our artifact count. Okay, we get a Force of Will out of them for it. I like that. They have to block, otherwise Kaido dies. Okay, clears Ice Fang Quaddle. Alright, got that out of the way. They do have a Kaido, but it can't really do a whole lot here. Like, they could just start trying to go beatdown route plussing this. It's just a cool take on Sultai Midrange, seeing Kaido in it, and, like, Ice Fang Quaddles and stuff. Alright, getting in with Kaido, that's fine. We'll take 3. Luckily, this ability doesn't really... Ooh. Well, we're gonna get another treasure out of this. I think they're just doing this for card selection at this point. Alright, kept both cards on top for card selection purposes. It's a little concerning. Something like a Seeds of Innocence is real bad for us. Alright, passing with 4 open mana. Ghost Vacuum is interesting. I think we're gonna get in an attack first. Are they Okay, they're gonna consign that trigger. That's actually totally fine with me. That's not really what I was going for here. But let's get in, see if they got another creature to flash in here. If they got another Ice Fang Quaddle, I get another treasure. Otherwise, Kaido's just dead. That works. That makes my life simpler as well. See if we get another Force of Will out of them for this. This isn't colorless, so Consign doesn't do anything here. Yeah, the Synthesizer has a color. Lotus Petal, Mox, Opal. So they're kind of heavily saying that they have a Consign to Memory, which if that's the case, I don't think I want either of these. How much does Thought Monitor cost? 3, so I can't cast it yet? Okay. Pass the turn. Okay. So they had a Fatal Push. They just need to turn on Revolt. They've only got 1 card in hand, though, but they did select what their draw for this turn was going to be. And it looks like it was a land, which is fine. Alright, so now we have to decide what are we getting with this. I feel like Lava Spur Boots might not be a bad idea. We could Pithing Needle and shut off their Verdant Catacombs. I'm getting a little worried about the graveyard, but I've already got Ghost Vacuum. Let's just do the cheeky move since I don't know what to name. And we're going to just say Verdant Catacombs and shut them off of that mana indefinitely. Let's cast the Bauble just to reduce the cost of Thought Monitor even more. Thought Monitor now costs 1 blue. Play a Thought Monitor. We'll get our dude. Or are they going to consign this trigger? Okay, they're going to consign that trigger. That's fine. I got another one. Draw some cards. Play Patchy. Cast Sojourner's Companion. Grow the Patchy. They are in top deck mode, and I'm just going to present lethal on board at this point. Crack this, play another Thought Monitor. Get some more cards. We have Darksteel Citadel and Seat of the Synod. We're going to play the Seats, and we're going to crash in. We're showing lethal a bajillion ways. They have 1 card to get out of this, which they should, in theory, know from their surveils. Unfortunately, I cannot punish a cantrip if that's what it is, because I didn't leave enough mana open, but I think I'm better off just presenting lethal here. And we get there! Alright! Alright, I like it! I think we can keep this. Turn 1 Emery into turn 2 Synthesizer into turn 3 Synthesizer? Yeah, we keep this. See what our opponent's up to. Hopefully we're not just dead on turn 1 and we have time to set up. Okay, so this looks like lands. It could be Turbo Depths. Could be a Jund-style deck. Okay, a White of the Reliquary. While annoying not the end of the world, we shouldn't have to worry about counter magic. I am mildly concerned about Wastelands. But we are very quickly going to get creatures much bigger than White of the Reliquary. And we hit a Frogmite, which is very good. They can get in with their white, that's fine. If they just life from the Loam, I'm kind of okay with that. Okay, Swords to Plowshares is probably the least important thing that they could have done here. I am mostly okay with that. Chalice of the Void. I don't think I need that yet. We might do that next turn in addition to Seed of the Synod and a Lotus Petal. Do I want to respect Wasteland is the question. I think at this point I'm going to say no. I'm going to put both of those to the bottom for now. They didn't have a land, and they don't have another creature to sacrifice to the white yet. I feel like they might go after the Ancient Tomb first anyways. Get in for 2. We are going to be doing a ton of damage to ourselves here, unfortunately. But seeing as we saw Swords to Plowshares was their primary... there's a Wasteland anyways. Do they go after the blue source, or do they go after the Ancient Tomb is the question. The blue source is much more devastating to us, honestly. Okay, they went after the Wasteland. That's actually mostly fine. And we hit a City of Traders. I don't hate that. But I think we are going to just damage ourselves here. This is a decent-sized construct. Make a Deuter. He's a 5/5. Seed of the Synod and a Mox Opal. I think we actually do want the seat here, because we are going to want blue mana, and that will allow us to be able to play this Chalice without hurting ourselves. Okay, they had another Swords, which is fine. They still don't have any creatures, and they have been undoing all the damage they've been doing by swordsing everything. So, start out with a Seed of the Synod. Let's get down to Chalice on 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This isn't free, right? It still costs 1? Yeah. This is gonna put 3 bodies on the battlefield, and their removal spells and their crop rots are now gone. And these are going to be some thick robots. Just some casual 8/8s. And I'm probably at a point where, honestly, I can afford to Mishra's Bauble to get another draw next turn. And it's not going to negatively affect these guys all that much. They might be going for a Surveil land here. No. Bayou. Okay. Endurance. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care about that. They're going to shuffle my graveyard in. Again, that's totally fine. They have 1 card in hand. They can get rid of this to go find a land. So there's a Taiga on top. So this is just like Jund white control. There's the Taiga we knew about. I don't know if there's any one land that they can get. Like, they could start setting up for, like, a Dark Depths combo if they have that. So thinking sideboard-wise, this is kind of like the worst-case scenario colors, because they're probably going to have Meltdowns, they're going to have Force of Vigors. So that is something we're going to have to worry about in sideboard games. Well, our opponent's taking a minute to think through their play. I'm kind of thinking through how we're going to sideboard here. I think we're going to bring in Hullbreach, or the Harbinger of the Seas. Probably bring in the Dismembers, Disruptor Flute, and Pithing Needle. Oh, they're sacking well, I mean, I guess I can't really attack it anyways. But this theoretically presents a lethal crackback. So they either have to have something that can prevent me from attacking, like a Maze of Ith, save their life total like a Glacial Chasm. They could Tabernacle, but I can just pay for my creatures. Grabbing a Maze of Ith, and it enters tapped. Okay, Pyrogoyf for 4, so they can kill Sojourner's Companion? Okay. So Maze of Ith buys them a little bit of time, I guess? We're getting 2 draws. Another Chalice, and an Otawara. If I Chalice on 1, these go up to 8/8s. I can bounce the Goyf. I think I just go in and attack here. I can also Chalice on 2 to make another 2 constructs at the end of this, which honestly might be what I do. Yeah, let's Chalice on 2. Oh, wait, that doesn't mean mana value of 4. Isn't that 4? Well, I guess it's 0 when it enters the battlefield. Okay, that honestly was a punt on my part. They can crack in for 7 now. Mortuary Mire's fine. So that kind of was a punt on my part. I was thinking it would see the mana value on the stack. That's on me. I do have this Otawara to bounce something out of the way if I need to. And as long as they don't get another... Well, they don't have a way to get another Maze of Ith. So in theory, I bounce their blocker... Because I'm assuming they get in with at least 1, if not both of these. Alright, we'll see how they attack. We might be able to push through lethal damage next turn if they attack with both. Okay, they're not attacking with both. Oh, they are attacking with both. Okay, this should let us punch through lethal then. Because I can bounce the white back to their hand, and that gives me 2 attackers. They maze one, I kill them with the other? They're very much thinking over this attack. Hopefully they don't read Otawara being in my deck. Ooh, it looks like they might have. Okay. So they are only getting it for 3. That's fine. So now I can't punch through lethal. Okay, I don't hate Urza Saga. I don't need the City of Traders anymore. Urza Saga is going to make some more constructs. I can get in, force them to block one of these, because they're going to maze one, block the other. This still leaves up Otawara, because they could sack the Goyf. We'll see what they do here. They're probably going to block maze, possibly sack the Goyf to go get another land, but then I can also just Otawara the white back to their hand, and then they can't cast it anymore, which might be what I do if they get rid of the Goyf. We're just going to see what they do here. Because if I Otawara the white back, they can't recast it. Maybe there was something to be said about Otawaring the white back anyways? Well, we'll do this, see what happens. I'm sure they're going to sack the Goyf. Okay, they're sacking the Goyf. Let's see what they grab before I do anything crazy here. They're grabbing a Wasteland to take out that. Okay. Do I want to? No, I will wait. Make them make the first move here. Yep, that buys them a turn. That's fine. They're still just in top deck mode. If they find another creature that they can actually cast to block with, that buys them another turn. But if they cast a creature, I will bounce the white back to hand. Okay, they're going to go for the Wasteland. We're going to do this. Let the mana burn off. That's totally fine. If they don't do anything, I'm going to bounce the white. It looks like they aren't. So let's bounce the... Yeah, they can't search anything up right now anyways. Unless they happen to have an endurance that they can flash in at instant speed here to sack to go get, like, a Talon Gates. And the opponent scooped it up. Okay, so, as I was saying, this is some kind of, like, Jund white land control. I don't know how good Chalice is. It was really good in that matchup, but we are definitely bringing in the Harbinger of the Seas. Pithing Needle and Disruptor Flute definitely coming in. Dismembers definitely coming in. They care about their graveyard to a certain extent. I think we're taking out Kozilek's Unsealing. We did see Swords to Plowshare, so I think I'm going to keep the Chalices in. Maybe drop one being on the draw. Trim a couple of Emerys. And maybe trim 2 Frogmites. They're just like the worst creature body in the deck. And let's try something like that. So things we have to worry about are going to be Force of Vigor, Meltdown, stuff like that. We're going to keep this and just start out with a Chalice on one. Just a Badlands. Okay, so yeah, we're going to start out with a Chalice on one. If we get any more 0-drop artifacts, okay, it's a Chalice. Let's start out with Chalice on one. I could play out Petal, Chalice on 0, and then I have mana up for Metallic Rebuke, but it shuts down all of my 0s. My Aether Spellbomb is shut off now, unfortunately. I think I am going to do it. It hurts me a bit, but I don't necessarily need my 0-drop artifacts in play. I mostly just need to cast them. So we'll see. This might come to bite me in the ass, but I'm a little worried about whatever their second play is. If they... Okay, they're just cracking that off on that. I'm actually more okay with that than anything right now. Ooh, Harbinger of the Seas. A little bit of a nombo with Urza Saga, but it probably just shuts their deck down, depending on what they do. Alright, 1 mana removal is shut off. The question becomes, am I willing to just nuke my Urza Saga here to shut off their entire deck? Ooh, this is a tough question. Am I willing to do this to shut off my Urza Saga to basically nuke their whole deck? This is a very risky play. I think I am. This is such a non-bow right here, but we're gonna go for it. I was trying to see if there was a way that I could hold up Metallic Rebuke as well, but this hitting the battlefield, if they don't have like a Dismember or a 2-mana removal spell here, this might just shut their whole deck down. Okay, they're just flashing an Orcish Bowmasters. That's totally fine. I do not care about that at all. Okay. And hopefully they don't have any basics. Their Mox Diamonds are shut down because of Chalice on 0. And I will snap block something if I need to. I can work around this much better than they can. Play out a Ancient Tomb, and now I have Metallic Rebuke held up. So if they do have some kind of removal spell, I can just counter it. Ooh, they do have a basic, okay. At this point, I just want to hit lands that don't die instantly. If they have a Dismember, they can pay for the Metallic Rebuke. Force of Vigor against Chalice on 1. Okay, that's fine. I'll let that happen. I can't stop it anyways, so it's whatever. And is this a Dismember on top of it? No. I think they have like a Lightning Bolt or something. Okay. Urza Saga just dies, unfortunately. Let's play an Aether Spellbomb. This does open up our Spellbomb to be able to bounce the Orc army next turn, and I can start getting in again. This does drop Metallic Rebuke for a turn, unfortunately. More islands from the opponent. So, if I bounce the Orcish Bowmasters, that's a this is just a removal spell on this. So let's just do that. Bounce the Orc army to get rid of it. They can't kill this Harbinger now. Again, unless they have something like a Dismember. If this turns into a race, I'm winning the race. It just depends how many more basics they have and if they find them. Alright, opponent is going to start getting in. Going to try to race me here. If I can hit another land, Automaton is very good. But I am winning this race. They're hitting me for 1. I'm hitting them for 2. I'm a little mana screwed here. Another land lets me play Automaton. This Metallic Rebuke isn't really doing much here. Mox Opal that I can't cast. This Chalice on 0 is hurting me a bit, but I think it might be hurting our opponent more. Just gotta hold out for 7 more turns. Alright, Shifting Woodlands is good. I mean, like, we're getting a lot of information out of our opponent if they manage to find a way out of this Harbinger of the Seas and force this to a game 3. Mishra's Bauble I can't cast. At least these 0 drops are very good for if I hit another land to be able to grow this Automaton instantly. Unfortunately, my own Harbinger is locking out my land with Urza Saga. Disruptor Flu. Okay, I don't know what that's gonna name. Force of Will. Straight whiff. I don't have that in my deck at all. We're still just racing at this point. If I have to go to discard, I'll just get rid of this Metallic Rebuke. Yeah, I've got 2 of them, so I might just chuck the Urza. Well, no, I want to hold on to the Urza Saga just in case they find a way out so that I have a land drop. And then I'm going to discard one of these Metallic Rebukes. They're not doing anything anyways. Basically just got to realistically fade 6 more turns. And this is a Harbinger of the Flood Moon, basically just completely holding the fort here. Okay, that's a land I can actually play. This lets me do things. And then, like I said, I don't really care about the Chalice triggers here. I just care about growing the Patchwork here. Like, I'm fine with all of this going to the graveyard because it gives me another creature to continue beating down with. If they ever find a way out of this Harbinger, I'm kind of fucked. But it is what it is. Like I said, we're getting a lot of information out of our opponent here. Like, I am worried about a black basic out of the opponent, because that can actually show removal. I'm worried about a Dismember. I'm curious if they have anything that can outright damage here. I think we're just going to cast the Frogmite, grow the Patchwork a little bit more, and I think I'm going to start holding the Harbinger back on D. I do not want to risk this thing in combat in any way, shape, or form now. Like, I don't know if there's some random pump spell they could have on the Bowmaster, but I don't want to attack with it just in case. And they are staring down lethal. Alright, I don't know what they have here, but they haven't scooped yet. If they have a dismember, this unlocks their entire hand. And then I'm in really bad shape. Force of Vigor targeting... Okay, that does buy them a turn. What they exile to it? Insidious Fungus. Okay, that buys them a turn. And it does unlock my 0-drops now. Another Chalice. Let's... Chalice on 1? Just to make sure that they can't, like, find a crop rotation to get out of this to find another basic. And now we're back in the same holding pattern. If they find another Force of Vigor, it buys them another turn. They're staring down lethal again. And they scoop it up. That was 100% Harbinger of the Flood Moon holding down the fort there. Holy shit. Alright, positive record's locked. Let's go on to the final round. Final round, won the die roll. As I said, positive record's already locked. Yeah, we will keep the hell out of this. Start out with turn 1, Chalice on 1, Automaton, start going to fucking town? Whoops, clicked into combat, my bad. And start out with a Chalice on 1? And it resolves, okay. Okay, another blue deck. I'm actually pretty okay with that. I like Thought Monitor. I'd like more blue mana. They could daze this, which would be a little annoying but not the end of the world. Which it looks like that might be what they're doing. Undercity Sewers. Bin a land. They can daze this, I guess. It's not the end of the world. Okay, this just means that I get Emery, and they would have to force this, and it looks like they don't have a force. Ooh, and I got some goodies in the graveyard. Alright, Bin's an Archon. So, what we want to do... Ooh, I like Urza Saga. Play Saga. See if we can get them to go after this Lotus Petal, but it seems like they're F6'd at the moment. Oh, fuck. Right. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I forgot about my own Chalice on 1 there. Oops. Well, let's hope that is not an Animate Dead. Yep, that is an Animate Dead. We're gonna go to the next one. I fucked that up. That's on me. Yeah, okay. So we're up against the blue-black Reanimator deck, which I was watching... Can't remember if it was Bosch and Roll or Thraben U this morning, and they were specifically mentioning how, like, that deck has somehow managed to still stick around and be the top of the format despite multiple bannings. And it just kind of sticks around like a cockroach is how they described it. And I thought that was extremely accurate. So we're bringing in Hull Breachers, Unlicensed Hearse, Fairy Macabre. Frogmites can probably go. Let's get rid of Kozilek's Unsealing. And then probably... That's all we really need. Is there anything else we want to do? We could Disruptor Flute. Harbinger isn't going to do much because they have trolls and shit. I think we're going to give this a shot and go like that. That game was 100% on me. So let's see if we can crawl back into this. This isn't terrible, but if they just have the nuts, this really sucks. So I think we're going to ship it. This is a little bit better. I think we will keep this and hope for the best. Put the Lava Spur Boots to the bottom. Play a Saga and hope that we can prevent just getting, like, turn 2'd here. Because this will work toward the Ghost Vacuum. Like, we're not getting constructs out of this. I've already resigned myself to that. If they just Entomb and then have Animate Dead around Chalice of the Void, that really sucks. We are also going to shut off our own Spear. This is a really good Daze target as well if they have it. Daze, Force of Will, any of that shit. But if it's Daze, it might set them back a turn. Unless they just Entomb here and then Daze. No, Consign to Memory. Okay. So as long as they don't have Land, Entomb, Reanimate, I'll be able to get down a, whatchamacallit, Ghost Vacuum. Well, they're recycling a troll, so do they have the Reanimate to go with it? No, they grabbed an Undercity Sewers. Okay. They like whatever's on top. At least this means we get a Ghost Vacuum. Sojourner's Companion. Okay. And then we're gonna grab Ghost Vacuum. Play a land. play out Shadow Spear. This lets me hold up Metallic Rebuke and Ghost Vacuum. So if they pivot onto the Goyf plan, I can Metallic Rebuke it. Which it looks like that's what they're doing. We are going to use this to pay. This gets around a daze. If they have a Force of Will, we're kind of just dead. Okay. Barrogoyf is at least taken care of in the meantime. Since they were tapped out, I was okay tapping the Ghost Vacuum. Mishra's Bauble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can play a Sojourner's Companion just to have a body on the battlefield here. And then I can equip Shadow Spear to it. I think it's worth cracking this to get an extra draw and see what they're doing. Okay, they're drawing a Reanimate. I have an answer to that, as long as they don't have, like, a Brazen Borrower or something. And it looks like the opponent's just going to pass the turn, which is fine. Oh, shit. I fucked that up. Okay, I meant to eat a creature, but I clicked through the end step. I'm just playing all sorts of fast and loose now. Okay, a Bowmasters is fine. They can ping me. I don't really care about that. Into a Thought Monitor. That's not very good. Okay, I like Urza Saga. That gives me a flow of constructs. We will equip this here. I just hope they can't have, like, a double Reanimator style line. Just gonna let me get in, that's fine. It has Trample, so there's no point in blocking it anyways. Wasteland would suck. Not a Wasteland, okay. Getting in, that's fine. I will not click through my end step this time. I think I'm gonna eat the Barrogoyf first. I'm more scared of that hitting the battlefield than I am the Troll of Khazad-dûm. Urza's Saga, so I can either do Constructs, or I can try to get a Chalice down. I think I want the Constructs more, unless they, whatchamacallit that, consign it, but they didn't. Like, I'm still a little worried about something like a Brazen Borrower. An Edict effect is bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still at 5 artifacts. I think I'm just gonna wait and make a Construct. Okay, that's mostly fine. I can make a Construct, replay that next turn for 1 mana, play the other one for free. So I'm not super concerned about that at the moment. I will block the Bowmaster. Like, this is kind of a heads-up play here. So what, do they have, like, a Fatal Push? If they do, that gets a Fatal... Okay, yeah, that just gets a Fatal Push out of hand. That's fine. And then we will eat their Troll on end step. Eat their Troll. Metallic Rebuke. I can go get more mana to be able to hold up the Metallic Rebuke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Right? 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I can't hold up the Metallic Rebuke anymore. I think I'm better off just using this mana, and then probably grabbing the Mox Opal here. Do a Chalice on 1. This would have to be a Force, but it would get 2 cards out of hand. That resolves. How much does this cost now? It costs 1? So I can play a Sojourner's Companion. They're going to Petty Theft that. I am going to go ahead and counter that, since they seem to care about it. And then I can drop another Sojourner's Companion for free. They've got 2 cards in hand. 1-drops are shut down at the moment. I still have the graveyard on lock. And then next turn I can re-equip Shadow Spear and start going to town again. They're at 8. I'm at 22. Okay, they scoop it up. On to a game 3. Do I want to change anything? I don't think so. Do I want to bring in Dismember to be able to deal with, like, a small Goyf or a Troll? Being on the draw, the Chalices aren't as good. So maybe bring in... Maybe I'll bring in the Dismembers, trim 2 Chalices, and let's try that. I was about to say, actually, let's bring in the Plague Engineer, but I clicked on it too late. I was thinking trim 1 more Chalice, bring in the Plague Engineer to be able to, like, stop orcs and shit, but a little too late for that. How hard do we believe in the Saga is the question. I think we're going to keep... We might just die either to a Wasteland, to a really fast start from the opponent, Like, if the opponent has a fast start or has a wasteland, we very well may just die to this, but we're going to give it a shot. Opponent did not shuffle off of the Ponder. Dismember makes me feel a little bit safer against some of the stuff they could be doing, but we're going to start out with a Saga, and we are going to Mishra's Bauble, and we are going to crack it on our turn just to get around Bowmasters. See what they put back on top. Troll of Khazad-dûm, okay. We have an answer to a Troll. Okay, I don't hate Mox Opal. Wasteland. That was something we knew could happen. So we need some blue mana somewhere, or some more 0-drop artifacts. Hull Breacher. That will be good if I can get some blue mana. I still have a way to kill a Troll if that's what they're going to do, and it gets around to days. They did not cycle the Troll yet. Okay, there's the Troll cycle. Grabs an Underground Sea, into a Reanimate. And we gotta kinda hope that they don't have Force of Will blue card. Because I can play around Force of Negation. This is a lot of damage to myself here. Basically just trading troll damage. I need blue mana badly. Okay, I mean, Patchy isn't bad. It's a clock, but we're also very much hitting ourselves. Another 0-drop, and I can get down an Emery, or I can get down Simulacrum Synthesizer and start trying to go from there. Patchwork is hard for our opponent to deal with, and it looks like they're missing mana now. Another artifact also turns on Hull Breacher. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have anything I can do here. I also am not about to shove this Patchwork Automaton into a Bowmaster here, which they did have. Okay. We need to find blue mana is the problem. Like, once we have blue mana, we have stuff we can do. Alright, opponent found their third land, so Goyfs are a thing that can happen. The fact that they're willing to trade this Bowmaster makes me think they have another one. So, how much does this cost? Cost 5? Jesus, okay, well, we're probably just gonna die by not having blue mana at this point, unfortunately. Yep, they had another Bowmaster. So we are very much not in a good spot. I need to start being able to build my board here. And we just don't have blue mana. Been to Barrogoyf, okay. If they have a Reanimate style effect, I don't have an answer for that. Alright, I guess I'll take 4. Into a Barrogoyf. I need a crazy rip-off of the top here to be able to survive. Chalice turns on blue mana. I go to 2. I can play an Emery, and I can sort of kind of survive for a turn. It's really the only thing I can do here. And if they just have a Daze or a Counterspell, I'm just dead. That resolved. That turns on blue mana. Get an Emery down. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, I'm just dead. Okay, yeah, no, the lack of blue mana killed us. Okay, good game, opponent. Yeah, I mean, we put up a positive record with the robots, but yeah, we'll get back to this in the wrap-up. Alright, so thoughts on this deck. It was a ton of fun to play. I know I say that about pretty much every deck. I do genuinely enjoy playing Magic, but this deck just felt fun. The synergy, being able to drop these huge overcosted creatures for little or no mana, and then getting these massive bodies with them with the help of Simulacrum Synthesizer, like, the deck was just honestly a ton of fun to play and felt really powerful when it got to do its thing. I will say one thing that fell off about this deck, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the videos, is considering this is a monocolored, mostly colorless deck, consistently getting our blue mana for Simulacrum Synthesizer, for Thought Monitor, was a lot harder than you would expect. If you look at the list, you've only got 7 actual blue lands, and you do have Lotus Petals and Mox Opals, but sometimes you struggle a little bit getting those turned on if you don't have your cheap artifacts. So it does run into some mana issues, and we did get color screwed in a few games, but other than that, the deck construction felt really, really good. Patchwork Automaton, huge. The Ward 2 on it and the fact that it grows with every artifact you cast, like, they don't need to hit the battlefield, as we saw. I could cast my 0-drops into a Chalice on 0 that was hurting my opponent. Even though I didn't get the artifacts, it grew the Automaton to the point where it was a threat they had to deal with. So even with that inherent tension in the deck, Automaton makes it worth it. The only real changes I would say to this deck is get rid of Kozilek's Unsealing. I know why it's in the deck, but as a one of, it felt really bad. It never came up being relevant. I think I boarded it out every single game too of the league. So I'd probably get rid of that. Either go up another Metallic Rebuke, go up another Emery to have the full play set, something along those lines. I just don't think it was really good in the deck. That being said, a little bit of background on this deck as well, as I saw some discourse on Reddit recently about 8-cast style decks and why they fell out of the meta. And I mentioned this version specifically with Simulacrum Synthesizer, and I was told it's a bad card. The community has moved off of it. It doesn't belong in the deck. But throughout the league, it was an all-star. It felt great, setting up our draws, making a massive army of constructs our opponent had to deal with. I guess it's against popular opinion and consensus, but I really like Synthesizer in this deck. I think it belongs personally, but I am no deck master, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed watching this as much as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.